share it for whatever reason. But it's up on YouTube if anyone wants to have a gander and throw it out there. We all know somebody who's affected. If we're not affected ourselves, we all know somebody who is affected by mental health. There's a suicide epidemic ongoing on this island at the moment. And it goes like this. I want you to know that I've been there. In those moments when it feels as though every wall's a prison, when the whole world kneels upon you and the darkness of your vision has encompassed all before you and turned your whole world black, and it seems as though you'll never get to see your own world back. I've been labelled with depression and branded with disease, and given the impression that for anyone who sees past this great deception that's been sold to us as fact, as a template for expression as to how we should react. But I've come to see depression as a product of control, that's embedded in our psyche with the forces who control what we read within our papers or see upon our screens is deliberately tapered to tamper with our dreams. And for all that we resist, it's there on every surface, from our muscles to our bodies, all designed to fit the purpose, to remind us that for all we have, it's still never enough, that there'll always be that void to fill with other mindless stuff. And though some still cling to God to bring some structure to their lives, and others seem to need to be destructive to survive, there's a whole new generation, one they're nameless and confused, who were born into an age that never had a God to lose, and in their quest for validation, they turn to the machine because they've come to know the world through the comfort of a screen. And I've seen the way we've gone from being socially adept, from the people who were strong to being totally inept, where anxiety and loneliness are living side by side, and everyone's just saving face with fear of losing pride, as the constant threat of homelessness and risk of repossession has come to manifest itself as clinical depression, so they medicate the masses just to keep them from the rope and eradicate the last remaining evidence of hope, just to sell us back to superficial versions of ourselves from the sacrificial altars of our supermarket shelves, and then tell us that a problem halved is just a problem shared, but thus a problem doubled is a problem that's been there because so many now despair, because to paraphrase Voltaire, they see who rules who suffers, yet still are running scared. But before you push the chair, I want you to step down from there and be the light you're born to be. To understand that those who see things differently are those who reshape history. That the prophets and the scriptures, the poets of the times, and everyone you'll ever meet will struggle with the mind, but one true friend will always trump a million friends online. Where reality is distorted and contorted to obscure, and designed to isolate us and to make us insecure. But for all our social networks, our net worth is obsolete when we need to praise the strangers to make us feel complete. But beyond our echo chambers, when we lift our eyes, we'll see that around us lie the embers of our own humanity in this day. It's why we name the night so too will come to see that the day we like to blame in life is only ever we, and for all we try to justify the versions of our truth, there will always be perversions to another's absolute, because no matter where the roots lie, the one thing guaranteed is that the plant will always come to bear the hallmarks of the sea. And look, I don't have all the answers, and I'll never say I do. I have just as many doubts and insecurities as you, but a friend of mine once told me that I showed up in a dream, and I'm not exactly sure what any of it means. But I was walking in the desert with my back towards the sun, in a crowd of other people, but for every other one their shadows fell before them, but for me it fell behind, and he said that he just stood there and watched us for a time. Till at last I took an hourglass and smashed it with a stone, and poured the sand upon the sand, and there I stood alone. When he asked why I did it, I turned to him and said, well, that was simply just the way that the universe was made. And I know that may sound cliche, but I've been thinking of it since, and the more that I've been thinking, the more that I'm convinced that maybe all of us are only pouring dust upon the dust, and it's not us killing time, but more just time that's killing us. But when two people every day here now are taking their own lives, and countless many others are struggling to survive, at what point do we acknowledge that this problem's epidemic, and not just a polemic of some college academic? Because we're so intent on carrying this intense collective grief that we seem content to marrying our lack of self-belief to a greater sense of victimhood that always comes across as a symptom of the dogma we've adopted from the cross. But look, I'm tired of trying to find the words. I'm sorry for your loss. But that loss can be avoided for a fraction of the cost, and I'm tired of the statistics because the numbers can't uphold the stories of the victims that will largely go untold, and I'm tired of the stigma that still surrounds our mental health, as if we're simply feeling it's a failing of the self, but mostly just exhausted because I'm all too well aware that right now someone else is just about to push the chair. And I wish that I could tell them, for however dark their plight, that through the shelter of each other we can learn that love is light.